أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Lesson number 156, Surah Al-Kahf, ayah number 99 to 110. وَتَرَكْنَا بَعْضَهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ, and we will leave them that day, يَمُوجُ فِي بَعْضٍ, surging over each other. تَرَكْنَا, meaning when the Ya'juj and Ma'juj will come out, when they will emerge, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to leave them. He is going to let them be free. He is going to let them loose. بَعْضَهُمْ, some of them, some of the Ya'juj and Ma'juj, يَوْمَئِذٍ, on that day. On which day? The day that they will be able to go through that wall. And when they will come out, يَمُوجُ, they will be surging, فِي بَعْضٍ, into others. Surging like what? Like waves. Yamuj is on the root letters Mim, Waw, Jim. And Mawj is wave. Wave of what? Water. In the ocean, in the sea. And بَعْضَهُمْ يَمُوجُ فِي بَعْضٍ. What does this show? Their great numbers. That they will be like surging into one another, colliding into one another, coming in surges, just like waves do. So they will mix with one another on account of their multitude. And it is also said that what this means is that they will emerge upon the people to destroy their wealth and property, creating fasad. Just as a wave of water comes and it washes away whatever it touches, it sweeps away whatever it touches, breaks it down, destroys it. Similarly, the Ya'juj and Ma'juj will come in waves, so many in their numbers. And they will destroy everything that they come across. If they come across some water, they're going to drink it all up. If they come across some land with anything on it, they're going to destroy everything. وَتَرَكْنَا بَعْضَهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ يَمُوجُ فِي بَعْضٍ. And very soon after the Ya'juj and Ma'juj, what's going to happen? وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ. And the trumpet will be blown. Meaning the day of judgment will occur. فَجَمَعْنَاهُمْ, then we will gather all of them. Who? All of the creation. Jam'a, in one assembly, in one gathering. All of the creation, all of the people of the past, and the people who will be alive at that time. The ins, the human beings, the jinn, the malaika, the angels, the wuhush, the animals, the beasts, as well as all of the various types of dawab, crawling creatures. All of them will be gathered together in one jam'a, in one assembly, in one gathering. To the point that even the angels of the heavens, they will be brought in this gathering. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Fajr, ayah 22, وَجَاءَ رَبُّكَ وَالْمَلَكُ صَفًّا صَفًّا. And your Lord and the angels will come that day. How? In rows. So the angels of the heavens even will come in rows. فَجَمَعْنَاهُمْ جَمْعًا, one assembly. And why will this assembly be? Why will this gathering be? For the purpose of hisab, for the purpose of jaza, for the purpose of accountability and recompense. Some have said that وَتَرَكْنَا بَعْضَهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ يَمُوجُ فِي بَعْضٍ. What this means is not only the Ya'juj and Ma'juj, but the people in general. That when the trumpet will be blown the first time, because remember that the trumpet will be blown how many times? Twice. So when it will be blown the first time, فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي, the trumpet will be blown, what's going to happen? Everything in the heavens and the earth is going to get destroyed. We know that the stars, the sun, the moon, they're going to lose their light. They're going to be colliding into one another. The earth, the mountains are going to be destroyed. They're going to be like fluffed up wool. And the rivers are going to be set on fire. The water is going to be set on fire. So you can imagine, with all of this destruction on the earth, what is the state of people going to be? يَمُوجُ فِي بَعْضٍ. Because of the chaos, because of the fear, they will be colliding into one another. Coming in surges, in waves. يَمُوجُ فِي بَعْضٍ. And then what's going to happen? وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ. And then the trumpet will be blown, again the second time. So you understand the two interpretations of the ayah? وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ then means the trumpet will be blown the second time. And then فَجَمَعْنَاهُمْ جَمْعًا, all people are going to be gathered up together. All the creation is going to be gathered in one gathering. Who is going to blow the trumpet? The angel Israfil. Remember that there are 3 kiram, honorable angels. Which ones are they? Jibreel, Mikael, and Israfil. Alayhim as-salam. The Prophet ﷺ used to pray, Allahumma rabba Jibraila, wa Mikaela, wa Israfila. These 3 angels are the 3 kiram, honorable angels. And each and every single one of them is appointed with a great responsibility, with a huge task to perform. And each of them is given a task which has to do with life. Like for example, Jibreel ﷺ is given the task of bringing revelation. And revelation is what? It's the life of the hearts. Similarly, we see that Mikael, he is given the responsibility of bringing rain. And rain is what brings life to plants and creatures. Similarly, we see that Israfil ﷺ is given the responsibility of blowing the trumpet. And when he will blow the trumpet, then the day of judgment is going to be established. And after that, people are going to live again. But for how long? For eternity. And remember that the trumpet will be blown twice. The first time it will be blown, فَالصَّعِقَ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, that whoever is in the heavens and the earth is going to be overcome by fear, is going to fall unconscious, is going to die. And then the second time he's going to blow the trumpet, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will command him, in Surah Al-Zumar, ayah 68, we learn, فَإِذَا هُمْ قِيَامٌ يَنْظُرُونَ. Then at once, all of the people will be standing, and they'll be looking. So the trumpet will be blown twice. وَعَرَضْنَا, and when the day of judgment is going to be established, وَعَرَضْنَا, and we will present Jahannama, hellfire, يَوْمَئِذٍ, on that day. On which day? The day of judgment. And we are going to present the hellfire, لِلْكَافِرِينَ, for the disbelievers, عَرْضًا, on display. The word ard is to put something on display. To put something before the other so that he can see it very clearly. So what are we going to put on display? Hellfire. And who will we display it for? Al-Kafirin. And it's going to be arda. You see the arda at the end, this is masdar for the purpose of emphasis. And to also show the enormity of this display. That it's going to be ardan aziman, a great display. A very clear and horrific display. So that they will be able to see it very clearly. Why will the hellfire be shown to them, displayed to them before even they're admitted into it? This is going to be a part of the punishment. Because when a person comes to know, this is what's going to be my end, then before even he reaches there, it's as though he is being given the punishment. He is being made to suffer the punishment. So this will add to their grief and distress and fear. But how will the hellfire be brought on display? We learn in Sahih Muslim that Ibn Mas'ud radhiyallahu anhu, he said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, يُؤْتَى بِجَهَنَّمَ تُقَادُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ بِسَبْعِينَ أَلْفَ زِمَامٍ مَعَ كُلِّ زِمَامٍ سَبْعُونَ أَلْفَ مَلَكٍ. Hell will be brought forth on the day of resurrection, pulled by means of 70,000 reins. It will be pulled by how many reins? 70,000. Typically an animal is pulled by how many? 1. But hellfire will be brought with 70,000 reins. And each one of those reins will be held by 70,000 angels. Just imagine. What has to be tied up in reins? An animal. Something that is going wild. Something that has to be controlled. And hellfire is like that. Because سَمِعُوا لَهَا تَغَيُّظًا وَزَفِيرًا, it will be inhaling, exhaling. تَكَادُ تَمَيَّزُ مِنَ الْغَيْظِ. So this is what hellfire is. It will be brought chained up, leashed up, with 70,000 reins. And each of those reins will be held by 70,000 angels. What's the point of mentioning this? What's the objective of mentioning this? What's the point of informing us about this incident on the Day of Judgment? So that we can rectify our affairs with our Creator. We can rectify the matters that are between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that we begin to fear this day. We begin to prepare for this day. And we can begin to imagine this day that is right before us. So we need to imagine it. And we need to realize that there is nothing between us and the Day of Judgment except for what? Death. That just the soul has to leave, and that's it. Which can leave at any moment. And once the soul leaves, that's it. Everything is going to finish for us. And on the Day of Judgment, it's either this view or it's the view of the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The choice is ours. We are being told about this so that we can prepare for that day. We can fear this day because this is a real day. This is going to happen. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells is the truth. Now who are the kafirin? Who are those people for whom the hell will be displayed? Hellfire will be brought right before them so that they can see it. Who are these people? Allah describes them. الَّذِينَ, there are those who كَانَتْ أَعْيُنُهُمْ, their eyes were فِي غِطَاءٍ عَنْ ذِكْرِي, their eyes were within a cover removed from my remembrance. غِطَاء. غِطَاء is from the root letters غَيْن, طَاء, يَا. And غِطَاء is used for a libas, a garment, a clothing. But such a garment that completely wraps, that is used for wrapping, that is used for covering, that is used for enveloping something. This is what ghita is. And it's such a thick cover through which nothing can be seen. It's not see-through at all. You cannot see anything through it, not even light. This is a kind of covering that ghita is. And figuratively, the word ghita is also used for ghafla, for heedlessness, for negligence. That when a person is blinded by his desires, he is blinded by heedlessness, that no matter what comes before him, he does not even notice it. He does not even see it. So these people, their eyes were covered with what? A covering. And this covering, it prevented them from seeing dhikri, my reminder. They were removed away. They were prevented from seeing the reminder of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even. Meaning, the Qur'an. They were unable to see it, unable to obtain guidance from it. They were in complete ignorance of it. غِطَاءٍ عَنْ ذِكْرِ. And this is something so sad, that the Qur'an might be right before a person, right in front of him. But because his eyes are wrapped up, his eyes are covered up, he cannot see. He cannot benefit. He cannot enjoy. He cannot obtain any benefit whatsoever. It's like a person goes to a beautiful place, but his eyes are covered. He cannot see anything. It's as good as he's not there. He's not going to benefit at all from anything that is put before his eyes. غِطَاءٍ عَنْ ذِكْرِ وَكَانُوا, and they were لَا يَسْتَطِيعُونَ, they were not even capable of سَمْعًا, hearing. يَسْتَطِيعُونَ is from istita'a. And remember, istita'a has two meanings. First of all, istita'a is to be able to do something, to have the ability to do something. لَمْ تَسْتَطِيعَ مَعِيَ صَبْرًا. And secondly, istita'a is also used for intention. When a person intends to do something. In Surah Al-Ma'idah we learned that the Hawariyun, they requested Isa alayhi salam that هَلْ يَسْتَطِيعُ رَبُّكَ أَن يُنَزِّلَ عَلَيْنَا مَائِدَةً مِنَ السَّمَاءِ, that would your Lord send down upon us a ma'idah from the sky? Not that is he capable of, but what did they mean by يَسْتَطِيعُ? Would he if we requested? Does he intend to? So لَا يَسْتَطِيعُونَ سَمْعًا, two meanings. That first of all, they were unable to listen. Just as their eyes were wrapped up, similarly in their ears was also deafness that prevented them from listening to the truth, from gaining benefit from what they heard. And secondly, لا يستطيعون, they never intended to even listen. And remember, some listening is of two types. What kind? First of all, idrak, to be able to perceive the sound, to be able to hear what is being said. And the second type of samr is of qubul, of accepting. لا يستطيعون سمعا. They never intended to accept. They might have been able to listen to the Qur'an every single day, but they had made up their minds, I am not going to accept. I am not going to change. I am not going to improve. I am going to stay as I am. لا يستطيعون سمعا. They were made to listen to the Qur'an. It was right before them. But they blocked their eyes, they blocked their ears, they blocked their minds. And because of this, hellfire will be put right before them on the Day of Judgment before even they're thrown into it. This is something very serious. And we need to reflect upon ourselves over here. If you look, listening is something that is extremely easy to do. Isn't it? Do you have to put in any effort in order to listen to something? You don't have to put in any effort. To see something, okay, you have to open your eyes. To speak something, okay, you have to use your mouth. But in order to listen to something, you don't need to open your ears. You just need to listen. That's it. You just need to prepare yourself mentally. That's it. So a person who deprives himself from listening to something, what's the reason behind that? First of all, his dislike. That he does not like what he is hearing. And although he may be hearing sounds, he doesn't want to process the information that he's listening. He doesn't want to pay any attention to it. He doesn't want to understand it. He doesn't want to accept it. So what is it that prevents a person from listening, although he can hear? What is it? It's his bias. It's his dislike. It's his hatred. It's his contempt. It's his spite. He does not want to listen. How evil a person's nafs can become. That's something that is so simple to do. Something that is so easy. The nafs makes it so difficult. Or the nafs, it gives excuses to a person. I don't want to listen. You should not listen. You should not change. Don't listen at all. This is all from shaitan. Because shaitan is our enemy. لا يستطيعون سمعا. And remember that not listening to someone is a great insult as well. How? Because in order to listen to someone, you don't have to do anything. You just have to sit there. That's it. You don't have to put in any effort. But when a person does not listen to someone, it's as though he's saying, I don't even give this much importance to you. I dislike you so much that I can't even bother listening to you. لا يستطيعون سمعا. So what is the punishment for such people? Who don't even bother to listen? Who don't even want to accept? Except that the hellfire should be brought right before them. We learn in Surah Fussilat, ayah number 5, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَقَالُوا قُلُوبُنَا فِي أَكِنَّةٍ مِمَّا تَدْعُونَا إِلَيْهِ وَفِي آذَانِنَا وَقْرٌ وَمِن بَيْنِنَا وَبَيْنِكَ حِجَابٌ. And they say, our hearts are within coverings from that to which you invite us. And in our ears is deafness. And between us and you is a partition. We cannot accept what you're saying. We cannot accept what you're saying. Say whatever you want, I'm not going to change. I'm not going to accept. And such people are the most unfortunate ones. Most unfortunate. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala questions, أَفَحَسِبَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا? Then the disbelievers, have they assumed? Hasiba. What does hasiba mean? To assume something. So have they just assumed? Do they think that أَن يَتَّخِذُوا, that they can take ibadi, my servants, min duni, besides me, awliya, as close friends? Do they think that they can take my servants as awliya, whom they worship, whom they pray for help, whom they ask for assistance? Do they think they can do that? Do they think that it is right for them? Do they think that when they call upon my servants for help, they are actually responded? Do they think that they will not be punished? No, they will be punished. Do they think that this does not anger me? Of course it angers me. Do they think they are helped? No, they are never helped by those beings whom they call upon. If you notice the word ibad has been used, that they can take my servants as awliya. What does this word include? The servants of Allah. What does it include? Who does it include? All the creation of Allah. Because we learn in Surah Maryam, إِن كُلُّ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ إِلَّا آتِ الرَّحْمَنِ عَبْدًا. There is no one in the heavens and the earth except that he will come to the most merciful as a abd, as a servant. And people have taken many servants of Allah as awliya. For example, there are those who have taken the prophets of Allah as awliya. They will call upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They will pray to him. They will ask him for help, although he has passed away. Similarly, they will pray to Isa alayhi salam. They will think that he is God. And ibad does not just include prophets, it also includes righteous servants of Allah. We learned about the story of Musa alayhi salam and Khadr. There are people who think that Khadr is alive and that Khadr helps us, and so they literally pray to him. Similarly, there are angels, jinn, other creatures like the sun, the moon, the trees, animals, whom people worship. And they think that they are their awliya. That if they pray to them, they will be responded. That if they seek help from them, they will be assisted. They have taken them as arbaban min dunillah. Who can be more foolish than such a person? That if I pray to the sun is going to help me. If I pray to a person who has passed away, he will help me. Who is more foolish than this person? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna a'tadna, indeed we have prepared, Jahannam, hellfire, lil kafirina, for the disbelievers, nuzulan, as a lodging. What is nuzul? Nuzul is what is prepared for the guest before he arrives. What is prepared for a guest before he arrives? His food, where he's going to stay, his bed, his room, his lodging, residence. Similarly, what are the activities that he is going to be engaged in during his stay? All of this is included in what? Nuzul. And remember, nuzul is prepared before the guest arrives. And it's from nazala. Nazala is to descend. So before the guest descends, nuzul is the entertainment, the residence, the food, the lodging, all that is prepared for him from before. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna a'tadna, what have we prepared as lodging for the kafirin? It's Jahannam, it's hellfire. So what does this ayah show to us? That any person who calls upon other than Allah, whether he is a mushrik, or he claims to be a believer, but he calls upon other than Allah, then he falls in this category of people. Because وَمَن يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ الْجَنَّةِ. Whoever associates partners with Allah, Allah has forbidden Jannah upon him. So where is he going to go? Into hellfire. إِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا جَهَنَّمَ لِلْكَافِرِينَ نُزُلًا. And notice what has been said, that hellfire is entertainment that has been prepared for them. It's already prepared. Hellfire is where they're going to be. That is where they're going to arrive after their entire journey through life, through death, through barzakh, through the day of judgment. Where are they going to arrive? Hellfire. And what is prepared for them over there? Beds of fire, walls of fire, coverings of fire, the food that is of zaqum, of muhl, and the companionship of who? Of those who are rebuking them, those who are arguing with them, constantly cursing them, as we have learned in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ, say, هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ, shall we inform you, بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا, with those who are greatest losers when it comes to actions? Shall we tell you, shall we inform you of those who will suffer the most with regards to their deeds, with regards to their actions? أخسرين. Notice it's not khasirin. أخسرين. أخسر is one who suffers most, one who is in the greatest loss. Shall we tell you about those who will suffer most concerning their deeds? Do you want to know? Yes or no? Why? Why do you want to know? so that you can avoid such action. So that we can avoid the actions of such people in order to be successful in the hereafter. The fact is that every single person is in loss. Every single human being is suffering decline every moment, in his time, in his age, in his abilities. Everything is deteriorating constantly. With each minute that passes, a person is losing a portion of his life. So every single person is in loss. However, there are only some people who are saved from this loss. And who are they? وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Every person is in loss. Any action that he does is a source of loss for him. Except for who? The person who has iman. And the kind of actions that he does are what? Amal salih. And his mission is to advise to the truth. Because when a person believes something to be the truth, then he cannot keep it to himself. What will he do? What will he do? He will share it with others. When he finds out something, he will definitely share it with others. And if he does not share it with others, then what's going to happen? He will not be able to practice that truth. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, and advice to patience. Because anything that you do in this dunya, especially something good, there are many difficulties that come a person's way. We need moral support. We need the motivation. So those people who motivate one another, who support one another, who don't let one another fall and slip, they're the ones who will be successful. Other than these, every single person is in loss. قُلْ هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا. So who are those who are going to suffer with regards to their actions, that their actions are not going to bring them any benefit at all, no matter what they have done, no matter what they have acquired? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says they are الَّذِينَ, those who ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ, their sa'i, their effort, their hard work, their endeavor, it is lost. ضَلَّ, it's lost, it's finished. Where is it lost? فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا, in the life of this world. Whatever they did, anything that they accomplished, any work they did, it got lost in the dunya. How? That it did not go with them to the hereafter. Because all their deeds were focused on what? On this dunya. They never aimed for the akhirah. They never did anything for the akhirah. All their accomplishments are only limited to the benefits of this dunya. الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. Nothing of their deeds will accompany them in the hereafter, bringing them reward. Nothing at all. وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ, and the sad part is that they think, while they're busy doing these actions, they think that أَنَّهُمْ, that indeed they يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا, that they are doing well in work. That whatever works they're doing, whatever actions they're doing, they're excellent. The best deeds, they're the ones who are doing them. No one is better than them in action. But the fact is that such people are worst when it comes to action. They're the greatest losers when it comes to action. They think that يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. Sun'a is from the root letter Sad, Nun, Ain. And sun' is to do something with skill. It is to produce something. Basically, this word is used for manufacturing products. Producing things in a factory, for instance. It's used for craftsmanship. And how is such work done? With a lot of skill and expertise. Any random person cannot go and work in the factory. No, he has to get some training. He has to follow a certain procedure. The things that are produced, they have to be of a certain size, of a certain weight, of a certain color. Isn't it so? All of the things are fixed from before. This is what sunnah is. It is to do something with perfection, with skill, to the best of one's ability. So وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا. They think that what they're crafting, that what they're doing, whatever efforts they're putting in, they're the best deeds. So in other words, the truth is confused to such people. They're confused about their reality. In reality, they're on falsehood. What they're doing is wrong. Because they assume that they're doing good, but in reality they are wrong. but they think that they are on the truth. And this is something that is very common. If you look at it, each person, what does he think? He's right, and others are wrong. The followers of each religion, the adherents of every sect, what do they think? That we are right and everybody else is wrong. And when a person is of this mindset, I am right, then there is absolutely no room for improvement. Because he's not going to search for truth. He is thinking he's right. Nothing needs to change. Nothing needs to be improved. When he has this mindset, he will not search for the truth, he will not acquire it, he will not implement it, and he will not improve himself. He will not strive to change himself. So such a person is in greatest loss. Who is successful then? The person who believes in what Allah has said. Because وَمَنْ أَصْدَقُ مِنَ اللَّهِ قِيلًا. No one is more truthful than Allah. الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. Only such people are successful. Other than them, everyone is in loss. Even if they are working morning and evening, they are working day and night, they are working constantly on weekdays, on weekends, double shifts, night shifts. They're working all the time, but still their deeds are fruitless. Their efforts are useless. They're not going to bring them any benefit in the akhirah, not even one bit. Why? Because we have learned al-malu wal-banuna zinatul hayat dunya. They are only a zina in this dunya. So if a person's entire focus in this life becomes his mal and banun, and he does not focus on baqiyatul salihat, isn't he the greatest loser? Isn't he the greatest loser? What a bad investment he has done. That he spent all his life, all his energy, all his money into what? Mal and banun, and nothing for baqiyatul salihat. And at the same time he thinks that he's right. That what he's doing is perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong in his lifestyle, there is nothing wrong in his perspective, on his outlook on life, in the kind of work that he's doing. So the person who is in greatest loss with regards to his deeds is the one whose entire focus is the enjoyment of this life. That is his focus. He does not think about the akhirah. He does not worry about the akhirah. He does not prepare for the akhirah. And this is why whatever he acquires, no matter how much it is, where will it be left? In the dunya. No matter how much money it may be. Thousands, billions of dollars. No matter how many huge houses he has acquired, he has bought. Even if he has a big list of qualifications. Even if he has educated children. Even if he has elite circle of friends. If he has a thriving business, multiple businesses, all of them will be left where? In this dunya. Because he never worked for the akhirah. And when he will come before his Lord, he will have nothing. He will have nothing. Because all he did was for what? This dunya. He did not have the akhirah in mind. So when he will come before his Lord, he will have nothing with him. We learn in the Quran, وَقَدِمْنَا إِلَى مَا عَمِلُوا مِنْ عَمَلٍ فَجَعَلْنَاهُ هَبَاءً مَنْصُورًا. And we will regard whatever they have done of deeds, and then we will make them as dust that is dispersed. If you look at it, this thinking is so common in the world today. We see Muslims and non-Muslims alike. What's their focus in life? Dunya. That's their focus. Their focus is not the akhirah. They're working. They're busy. Even if it's something like cooking and cleaning and raising children, going shopping, buying something, selling something, all of this revolves around what? Only dunya. Never for a moment does a person think that I'm doing this so that my Lord will be happy. I'm doing this the halal way, following these certain restrictions according to the approval of my Lord, so that He will reward me for my sabr, for my endurance. Hardly ever, rarely ever do people think like this. And when a person's goal becomes a dunya, then he will not have those actions with him in the hereafter. Even if apparently those actions may seem to be extremely beautiful, extremely amazing, very great, even if they may be very beneficial. Like for example, a person may be very charitable. Maybe he has a huge business, and with all the money he makes, he gives huge amounts of charity, donations. But that will not benefit him. Why? Because his focus is not the akhirah. A person's focus must be the akhirah. Then his deeds will benefit him. We learned that Dhul Qarnayn, he achieved a lot. Didn't he? He traveled from one place to the other. He conquered one land after the other. He built such a huge wall. But what did he say? What did he say? هَذَا رَحْمَةٌ مِّن رَبِّي. This is from the mercy of my Lord. And he had the akhirah in mind. فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي جَعَلَهُ دَكَّةً. When the promise of my Lord will come, He will make it dakka. He will make it dust. So we see that in our deen, we are not condemned. We are not discouraged from excelling in the dunya. Because sometimes people misunderstand this. This ayah does not mean that a person must not strive to excel in his dunya, to be successful in his worldly affairs. But what our religion does condemn is that a person does what he does only for the sake of dunya. That if he's working, if he's making money, if he's buying a house, if he wants to become a millionaire, it's only for the sake of dunya. It's only because he wants to enjoy. You see, there is a difference. When a person is buying a house so that he can just live there, enjoy there with his family, just have a house for the sake of having a house. And the other is that a person has a house with the intention that he will provide for his family because he has been made the qawwam. He has been made responsible for providing his family. He takes his as his duty. And so he's doing it in obedience to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And with the house that he has, he doesn't do anything that would go against the commands of Allah. For instance, nothing is done in that house, nothing is done through that house that would be in disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the condition. Do whatever you wish to. However, make sure that it's according to the instructions that Allah has given. And make sure that in the long run, a person's focus is the akhirah. That this is only a means. It's not the goal. My house, my money, my success, my career, my education, this is not a goal. It's a means. There's a difference in the two. When a person thinks it's his goal, then he stops there. When a person thinks it's the means, then his focus becomes the akhirah. Then he will not get lost in it. So many times it happens, so many times, that people get more money and they lose their religion. Many times people say things such as this, that, if I'm working, if I'm studying, if I'm buying this house, if I'm doing this, it's, falling in the category of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because a believer, whenever he does something according to the instructions that Allah has given, it is an act of worship. Remember that hadith? That when the Prophet ﷺ told the Sahaba that even when you go to your wife, even that is ibadah. So the Sahaba were surprised. How come? He said that if you were to go to someone who is not related to you, then that would be haram. So when you are going through the halal way, this is what? In obedience to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you see, when a believer, he does this consciously, that I am doing this because this is what my Lord wants me to do. And his focus is the akhirah. This is why he's doing only what his Lord wants him to do. And when he is trying to excel in his dunya, his religion is not being compromised. This is the criteria. Because many times we see people who are working day in and day out, increasing in their wealth, in their education, but their religion is being compromised. Their salah is being compromised. The hudud of the sharia are being compromised. Just to make more money, just to gain more friends, people will go in the company of those who are drinking alcohol. They will be in the company of those in which haram is being done publicly, openly. They will make money through haram means. This is not acceptable. And when a person does not care about the akhirah, then he thinks, okay, this is my goal, therefore do whatever you want to. And politically correct answer is that this is a part of worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whereas in reality, it's not. So many times it happens that people who are busy working for the dunya, making more dunya, they compromise on their religion. Just recently, I came across someone who is excelling tremendously in their business, in the work that they're doing. But they have lost their family, and in their house are bottles of alcohol, and So many wrong things are happening to the point that, you don't want to associate the person with the kind of actions that are happening. It's sad. It's sad. And initially a person may say, this is all halal, this is all worship, I'm making more money, Muslims should have a good image, and Muslims should be, more wealthy so that they can help one another, they can contribute to the masajid, they can do this, they can do that. Yes, initially it starts off with that niyyah, but many times the focus shifts. This is where the danger comes in. And such a person, no matter what he has acquired, even if it's billions of dollars, many, many houses, the business may be thriving, but it's of no use before Allah. It's of no value before Allah. Therefore, never get deceived by this. Never be impressed by the wealth, by the charm, by the success of such people. Because it's possible you come across them and you wonder, how lucky. They have such a huge house. They have such a huge business. They're such wealthy people. But never be deceived, because what good is that wealth? What good is that wealth when they're going to go before Allah with nothing in their hands? The dunya and deen have become completely separated. They are two different entities for them. They have separated. How? That their dunya is the goal and the deen is just a part-time thing. Something that you compromise on, something that you leave, something that you neglect, something that you don't focus that much on. But the main focus is what? Is the dunya. And the dunya is not being used to achieve the akhirah. Nobody is perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. It happens that you have a good niyyah at the beginning, and halfway through shaitan comes and you have a different niyyah. Your focus changes. It shifts. Nobody is perfect. However, this is why we are told to recite this surah every Friday, so that we can be reminded, so that we can question our deeds, so that we can question ourselves. What I'm doing, is it really worth something in the akhirah? What I'm doing, is it just going to be left behind in the dunya? Or is it going to make it with me to the akhirah? This is why this surah is such an important reminder, that we are to read it every single Friday to remind ourselves with it. This excuse that I'm not perfect, is just to justify the wrong actions. However, yes, nobody is perfect, but it doesn't mean just because you're not perfect, you must not try. We have not been sent in this dunya to become perfect. We have been sent in this dunya to put in effort, to try, to work, to show obedience. We learn in Surah Al-Isra, ayah number 19, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَنْ أَرَادَ الْآخِرَةَ, and whoever desires the hereafter, وَسَعَى لَهَا سَعْيَهَا, and he exerts the effort that is due to it, وَهُوَ مُؤْمِنٌ, while he is a believer, فَأُولَٰئِكَ كَانَ سَعْيُهُمْ مَشْكُورًا, then it is those whose effort is ever appreciated by Allah. So whose works are appreciated by Allah? Those whose desire, whose focus is the akhirah. And it's not just that they desire the akhirah, but that they're putting in the required effort. And there's also iman. Then such people, their efforts are going to bring benefit in the hereafter. Allah is going to appreciate their efforts. So, we need to question ourselves with regards to every deed that we're doing. Every single deed. Even if it's an act of ibadah, an act of ritual worship, like salah. Think about it. Analyze. That what value does this have? I'm spending 5 minutes, I'm spending 10 minutes, I'm spending 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. What benefit is this going to bring me in the hereafter? If it's being done with riya, useless. Useless. Waste of time. Waste of effort. If it's being done with major aspects of salah being compromised, like a person does not care about wudu, she does not care about the right hijab, she does not care about her dress during the salah, then that effort is useless. This is akhsarina a'mala, that a person is putting in so much effort in doing something, but it will bring him no benefit in the hereafter. ضَلَّ سَعْيٌ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يُحْسِنُونَ صُنْعًا.